taught. When we're talking about measures of center and measures of variability, we're talking about mean, median, mode, and range. Who can tell us what is mean? When we talk about mean, what does that represent? Amy? The average, right? Keyword average. Also known as the add, count, divide. You add all the numbers together, you count how many numbers there are, and you divide that sum by the total number of numbers. So that is mean, your average. Your second measure of center is the median. The median is also known as the what? Aiden? The middle. It's the middle value. But it's important when ordered least to greatest. If it's not written in order, then you won't be able to find the middle value correctly. It has to be in order from least to greatest, and then it's the centermost value. Now, key note, if there are two centers, then you're going to add and divide by 2. If you've got two centers, you add and divide by 2, because you can only have one median. You can only have one mean, one median. Mode is a different story. What is the mode? When we talk about mode, Sarah? Number that occurs the most. Occurs the most often. Something that's important to know, not all data sets have a mode. Not all of your data sets are going to have a mode. If you don't have any numbers that repeat, you don't have a mode. So your answer would be no mode. What do you think is the most common mistake people make when they don't see a mode? What do you think they accidentally put? 0. It's the most common mistake. But is 0 a number? Yeah. Okay, no mode means there is no number value that repeats. So you can't give a number. You just put no mode or none. So not every single data set has a mode. If it's a data set, you have a mean, you have a median. To be a set of data, you have to have 2 or more values. That's considered to be a set. When you have 2 or more values, you can find the mean, you can find the median, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be a mode. That's called your measures of center. So off to the side, I want you to go ahead and do one of those little things and put measures of center. So whenever you see us say use measures of center to describe this data, we're talking mean, median, and mode, your 3 M's. Measures of variability is different. That's going to be talking about range and interquartile range. Now, range is what? How do you find range when given a data set? Devin?
Add the first number and the last one.
Not add.
Subtract.
Subtract. Okay? You are going to take the highest or your maximum, highest value or your maximum value, minus lowest value or your minimum. It's the difference between your highest and your lowest, or your maximum and your min. Okay, same thing for what we call an interquartile range. Also known as the IQR. with the interquartile range, that's when you have a box plot. Okay? So with a box plot, or a box and whisker plot, box and whisker, you're going to take your third quartile and you're going to subtract your first quartile. Your third quartile minus your first quartile, which is basically the length of the box. It's the length of the box, how long the box is in your box plot. So let's go ahead and talk about some box plots. This is a typical drawing of a box and whisker plot. The values all the way at the ends, the dots, this is considered your lowest value, also known as your minimum, and your highest value, also known as your maximum. So you've got your minimum, your lowest, and your maximum, which is your highest. That's going to be these endpoints, these dots, okay? In the inside of your box, you always have some kind of line drawn somewhere inside of it. That line represents what we call quartile number 2, otherwise called the median of your data set. That is the median for your data set. The box is going to create your quartiles 1 and quartiles 3. So I'm just going to say Q1 and Q3. That's quartile 1 and quartile 3. The length of the box is called your IQR, right? Your inner quartile range, your IQR, your inner quartile range. That's the length of the box. Now, just so you know how a quartile or the box and whisker plot works, it splits it up into 4 quarters, which means that each one of these sets represents 25% of your data. So that means from your minimum to your first quartile, that is 25% of your data. From your first quartile to your median, that's another 25% of your data. From your median to your third quartile is 25% of your data. And from your third quartile to your highest is another 25% of your data. That means 25% of your numbers fall between the lowest and the first quartile. 25% of your numbers also fall between your third quartile and your highest. Are they necessarily the same measurement? No. It doesn't mean that you have more numbers here. What it means is you have more spread out data here. It means you have a larger spread. Numbers are further apart from each other. versus here, you have more closely related data because it's more squished in. Are there any questions? Okay, what you're going to do is you are going to grab your computer, and there is a quizzes that is assigned to you. It is 20 questions. You'll be finding the mean, median, mode, range, and then identifying parts of the box and whisker plot.